lessons from 21 years of marriage. That's what we are talking about today. Karibuni. Hi everyone, it's Judy Karanja. Welcome to my channel. I speak to you concerning relationships, family, wellness, and faith. Today is the 5th June 2019, and 21 years ago, on 5th June 1998, I was walking down the aisle to get married. It was a Friday afternoon. I was a blushing bride and enjoyed every moment of it. And I thought, what a wonderful opportunity to actually talk about the lessons we have learned in 21 years of marriage. I know it will bless you. God is the chief witness in marriage. You cannot cheat God. Sometimes you can manipulate your spouse, manipulate the family to believe one thing, manipulate the church, manipulate the judge, and get away with wrong things that you're doing or saying or being to your family. But you have to remember this: God is the chief witness. You cannot manipulate God. You cannot play God. Guys, I have seen it over and over and over again. Anytime someone thinks they're playing their family, they're playing their wife or playing their husband, and they're getting away with it, and life is good anyway. And I left that person and I moved in with a kashugwa, and I moved in with some young dude. I left my husband for whatever reason, be it sickness, be it finance, be it just lust. They always reap what they sow. The Bible says you will reap what you sow. And it always comes back. Sometimes it takes longer than others, and things do seem to be happening, and things do seem to be going fine, and they seem to have gotten away with it. It's like David when he killed Uriah and took Bathsheba. Think about it. 9 months passed the pregnancy, the baby was born. But one day, a prophet walked into his room and gave him a story, and at the end of the story said, "King, you are that man." God is the chief witness. God is not mocked. Don't play your spouse. Don't think you're getting away with it. Even when things seem to be going your way, sometimes we are doing wrong in our marriages, and we are so powerful that even the authority figures that are supposed to correct us are not doing so. Even your parents are not doing so. Have you ever wondered how when there's a feud between a couple, each family thinks their family member is the victim? You know, where are the objective family members who can tell their sons you're wrong in this, and tell their daughters no, in this area you're wrong? Where are the objective parents who should tell you go back home and be with your wife sometimes, or go back home and be with your husband sometimes when you go to stay there, and they can tell you're running away from your home and your responsibilities? You cannot mock God. You cannot play your family and get away with it. You cannot play your wife, your children, your husband and get away with it. Fear God. If for no other reason, I have seen, my goodness, fear God. God knows how to connect people, and God knows how to keep people together. If you know where God got me from to put me in my husband's life, it's an amazing story. He had gone to see his pastor and said, "I want a wife." pray for me. There were 3 prayer requests, and one of them was, I want to know my wife, I want to court her, I want to date her, I want to marry her. And they held hands and they agreed and they prayed. And just a series of events that took place in my life. There was no way in 100 years we were ever gonna meet because of where I was at that time. And how God just orchestrated things. Destiny helped us. Things happened, and I literally just stumbled into his field. I had Bishop Jakes talk about this, the way Ruth just stumbled into Boaz's field. God knows how to bring you together. If you're single and you're believing God for a marriage partner, it doesn't matter if you're in Timbuktu and the person you want to marry is in Saudi Arabia, is in China, is in the other end of the world. God knows how to bring people together and to keep people together. It's also an encouragement for you if you're married and your spouse is working out of town and you desire to live together. We have seen it. We have stood with couples. They have prayed and believed God, and God worked it out to the point that now they were able to live together. I've also seen it where my husband and I, for example, our first years of marriage, we had no break. In ministry, you're busiest on Saturday, on Sunday. I was having choir rehearsals and on Saturday and worship rehearsals. Then in the afternoon, he used to go to church to prepare for ministry. Then Sunday, we're in church, morning service, evening service. And then Monday was my rest day, but he was among the few staff who had to go to church on Monday. So we didn't have a day off together. And let me tell you, we wrote a petition and started praying to God to help us spend time together. God gave us good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over. God knows how to bring you together. God knows how to keep you together. Don't give up on that in your marriage. Have boundaries in your marriage. People will always try to break boundaries in your marriage. People will want to know more than they need to know. They'll snoop around. Relatives, church members, friends, neighbors have boundaries. Who can you allow to get into your home? What rooms are they allowed to go to? Who can you allow to live with you? What are the rules for their living with you? You have to have rules that if they break, then you have the right to remove them from your house. How long are they going to be in your house? Some people have taken in a relative out of goodwill, and eventually that person became so entitled, became part of the home and started running the home, and now they're frustrated and the marriage is breaking up because there were no boundaries. What can you tell your parents? Finances. Don't just talk about your money with your parents. You're so excited you got a raise, you go and tell your mom, you tell her the amount. Be discreet and have boundaries in your relationship. It protects the dignity of your marriage from meddling, so that you also can make decisions for yourself in the presence of the Lord. Not everything you decide has to be approved by your mom or by your dad or by your sister. You need to leave those relationships and cleave to your spouse. The sooner you do that, the better it is for your marriage. Which brings up another point. If your member of the family is messing up with the boundaries of your marriage and has a bad attitude, or is abusing your spouse or your children in any way, or taking advantage in any way, or doing anything negative, you handle your side of the family. Don't put your spouse to handle your people. Your husband needs sex, and good sex, to be happy and to be content in life and in marriage. Ladies, we have to drum this into ourselves. It doesn't matter how good you cook, how beautiful you look, what a great mother you are, what an awesome career you have. In fact, because of you, your family has moved to the country of their dreams and they're living the life they never dreamed. If your husband is not sexually satisfied, he is frustrated and he is not content. Sometimes we kind of ignore it, we trivialize it, but it is so important that God even said you can't stop it for prayer and fasting if your husband does not agree. Think about it. He dreamed about this thing all his life, since he was in puberty, or since he discovered his sexuality at 9 years old. And then you give him a lackluster, boring sex life, stingy. It's really, really hurtful. And if it's a man who doesn't want to step out of his marriage and get another woman, it's literally a prison, because where will he go? And he's thinking, oh my goodness, for the rest of my life, I'm stuck in this kind of sex life. I think it's even scary, because it's a great responsibility. It's a great power that God has given you. Don't misuse your power. Don't misuse your power. Don't tessa that man. Be good to him sexually. Learn with him. Fulfill his fantasies as long as it's not immoral and it does not violate scripture. What does he want you to do? Why are you refusing? Who is gonna do it with him if you don't? The marriage bed is holy and undefiled, and what you do there that does not violate scripture is all good and it's all right before God. Be adventurous with your husband. You're his dream. We are well able by the grace of God, not in our own might, with a lot of effort, and by the grace of God, you can do it. Your wife needs affection. Husbands, she's not trying to be bougie. She's not trying to be fussy. She's not petty. Sometimes even as wives, we try to trivialize it because you're thinking, no, life is real. Things are serious. Why am I even needing this? Why is this even hurting me? No, you are wired that way. We need our men to talk to us. We need our men to be considerate of us. You need to call when you're going by the supermarket. Ask her, what can I buy you? What can I get you? And I'm not talking about a new washing machine. It could just be an errand that you're keeping her from having to do later. It could be a snack that she's thinking of. Just constantly being romantic, noticing her, complimenting her. Your wife will serve you better when you show her affection. I had Dr. Miles Monroe say, men, you're going to the petrol station many times a day sometimes, not because you like petrol. It's not for you, you don't drink it, but it's for your car. If you're going to use that car well, if it's going to serve you well, then you have to service it and fuel it as regularly as it needs. Whether you like petrol or not, it's not for you. You have to learn to be affectionate. For your wife to serve you the way she ought to, she needs you to be kind. She needs you to be considerate. She needs you to be gracious with her and even romantic with her. Think about it, men. She dreamt about it all her life as well. All the Cinderella stories, all the fairy tales. That's why women are obsessed with soap operas, by the way. Women still dream of that man who sweeps them off their feet. Be the man who sweeps her off her feet many times a week, many times a month. Be that dream that if someone came and tried to seduce her, they have no chance because you're a great husband to her. Try and be that for your spouse. Don't leave them vulnerable to other people. Of course, it's no excuse for you, if this is missing in your marriage, to step out of your marriage. But take your responsibility seriously and ask God to help you. Give affection to your wife and give good sex to your husband. Don't hate, celebrate. Think about it. If you had a friend who, anytime you have something good, they have something bad to say about it. Anytime you have an achievement, they belittle it. If you're going for a fun engagement, they tell you reasons why it won't work and bring up their own needs at that point. Take care of my need instead of going to enjoy yourself. That's the kind of friend nobody wants and nobody wants to have. Don't be like that in your marriage. Celebrate what your spouse celebrates. Celebrate their special moments. I keep thinking about this, like when we have the World Cup, and my husband loves soccer. He's not an ardent fan who will cry when his team has lost, or he doesn't watch all the time. But a major tournament like that, and maybe a team he loves is playing, he wants to watch. And sometimes it's at 3 a.m., sometimes it's the middle of the day. Be the kind of buddy to your spouse. You make it easy for them to enjoy what they love. Get him some snacks, set the alarm so that you can wake him up so that he does not sleep through his match. I tell wives, and it's a secret, if you're married, you can have the best sex during World Cup and soccer while their children are asleep. Make it such a tournament that he will say, wow, that woman is worth her weight in platinum, in gold, in oil. That woman knows her stuff. Or that man, be the kind of man when your wife is enjoying things she enjoys. Maybe you find them silly. Don't sit there making snide remarks. Now this woman is crying. What kind of movie is this? This is so feminine. Why are women so romantic? No, if your spouse likes something, make it easy for her. Sweetie, let me go with the kids. I know your show is coming on. Let me take them to the mall. Can I bring you something you will enjoy? Maybe she's staying up to watch Miss World. I'm just using this as an example. I remember we used to do this when we were young. Don't mock it. As long as they're not doing something illegal, unethical, immoral, Help your spouse enjoy the things they like in life. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Don't be a killjoy. Don't hate. Celebrate what they celebrate. Something is important to them. Don't downplay it. Don't belittle it. Make life exciting for them. Life is so hard already out there. Let home be a heaven where people can genuinely celebrate and enjoy the things they love, because you, their spouse, makes that possible for them. Have no secrets. Have no secrets. I have seen cases where people believe that a prudent woman hides money and has another handbag that her husband doesn't know about, or a prudent man has business deals and partners that the wife doesn't know about. Maybe it's your culture. And I'm not talking about a situation where your spouse has a problem and they're gambling or drinking away all the family money. I'm just talking regular relationship. Have no secrets. You're better together. You know, your focus makes you blind to things. And sometimes just by bringing something to your spouse, you realize what you missed. You realize that it could be done better, because God gave you each other to be a team for destiny, to do mighty things and affect your nation and your generation. So if you have secrets with each other, you deplete the power and the potential of your marriage. We have seen cases where a spouse died, and then the other one, though they knew much about the finances and the running of the home and maybe some businesses, their businesses they didn't know about, their investments they didn't know about, their monies they didn't know about, and unscrupulous lawyers and sneaky friends and partners robbed them silly, just because the spouse did not tell them. Let your spouse be your confidant. Let me tell you, that's why we tell singles, if you can't trust somebody like this, don't marry them. Don't marry them. Find someone that you can trust, someone who has your back, that you can do things together and you are a team. How can you be comfortable getting naked with someone physically and having the highest form of intimacy, but you can't show them your salary slip? So what's more important, your money or your body and your life? You've signed off your life, but they don't even know what you earn. They don't even know a business you have on the side. I encourage couples, have the kind of relationships that people know. If you don't want me to tell my spouse, don't tell me, because I tell my spouse everything. And the pressure of knowing what to hide and what to say from so-and-so. What should I tell my husband from so-and-so? What did so-and-so say I should not tell my husband? I don't want that. As we talk about everything. And for good, we're not going to harm you or plan anything against you. But please don't tell me anything if you don't want my spouse to know. Be that kind of team and have that united front. I've seen that couples that do this go much further, achieve much more in their lives together. The team wins. But usually when there's hiding and there's secrecy, one person may win at the expense of the relationship or at the expense of the family, and that's not what you want. Thank you so much for watching. I pray that the tips I shared gave you insights and encouragement concerning your own relationship. Remember to like and comment. Share this with someone if you know it will bless them. And subscribe so that you don't miss my videos. I'll be glad to have you around and I appreciate your support. I love you so much for watching. Thank you and see you next week.